What's the definition of a unicorn these days in the NBA? 7 feet plus, ability to shoot the three ball, ability to drop a dime, can play both sides of the court with guard-like skills. Needless to say, these are the qualities which made Victor Wembanyama the quote-unquote best prospect in NBA history. And the truth is, these days, all NBA teams would love a unicorn on their team. I mean, the past 3 MVPs have all matched these profiles. Then, when it comes to the recent drafts, the 2023 number 1 pick matched this profile, and the 2022 number 2 pick also matched this profile. Overall, it just seems like adjectives for big, skilled, and mobile is the direction the league is heading in. Well, today we're going to take a look at one of the most extraordinary international prospects of the decade. While some people may have written him off going undrafted in 2022, there's more than meets the eye when it comes to the Filipino star. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the scary truth about Kai Sotto. In addition to being an alien like Wembanyama at 7'3", if there's one area of Kai's background that makes him a scary basketball prospect, it's the fact that the young man started playing basketball at the tender age of 4, while trading under his father, Irving Sotto, who was a high lottery pick in the PBA. Now, while some people may gloss over the fact that he started playing at such a young age, I can't help but think of the advantages it gives him as an adult. I mean, looking at the past 3 MVPs, Giannis didn't start playing until the age of 11, Embiid didn't start playing until he was 15, and Jokic, on the other hand, I'm not sure when he first picked up a basketball, but the man had to apparently be dragged to basketball practice at the age of 10, and actually quit basketball for a bit at the age of 13. Now, don't get me wrong, all these guys are superstars and are some of the best players in the history of the game. But could you imagine what they'd be if they started playing consistently from the age of 4? I ain't saying that anybody and everybody who starts playing at such a youthful age is going to become an NBA superstar, but when you combine the fact that Kai is 7'3", you have something that could be potentially scary. I mean, when I think of NBA players who took basketball seriously from such a young age, I think of stars like LaMelo Ball, Kyrie Irving, and Steph Curry. You know, players that, in addition to all the basics, just have that extra oomph to their game that coaches just can't teach. Like, for example, just look here. After getting the block on one end of the floor, the man then ends up with the ball in his hands. He knows his team is down 14 at this point and probably feels that he has to get a bucket himself. So, instead of passing it down to his point guard, he takes it coast to coast himself, crosses over his defender, and floats it in with his right hand. With his right hand. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is because the man actually shoots with his left hand. How crazy is that? Like, it's quite a spectacle to see someone such as Uncle Drew finishing with either hand smoothly at the rim, but a 7'3" center? That's almost unheard of. And that's just one of the many advantages players tend to have when they start training seriously at a young age, with a father who played professionally. Next off, what makes him a really scary prospect for the future is his personality. Some people may not see personality as a big thing when it comes to playing in the NBA, but it is. Take 7'3" Hasheem Thabeet, for example, who was selected number 2 overall back in 2009 by the Memphis Grizzlies. He was projected to be a huge megastar based on his physical attributes, but was a huge disappointment in the NBA. And if you ever wondered why, in an interview years later, the defensive maestro Tony Allen said that it was because of Hasheem's poor eating habits, the lack of a developmental support system, and in general, he just didn't listen to his vets and thought he knew everything. Well, compare that with what a scouting director for Adelaide said about Sotto. Kai is a positive influence who brings energy and effort to the team at practices and games every day. He's easy to get along with, loves joking, and doesn't back away from challenges. He's coachable and receptive to feedback from coaches and teammates. Seeing him at practices and games reinforced the projection he's achieving. His progress is ideal for both a foreign kid and a 7'3" unicorn. I know that words are just words, but The truth is, it's a lot of the intangible stuff that separates a basketball player from a basketball star. Next, let's take a look and dissect what Kai could do on the basketball court. And I think the first question anyone and everyone has for a 7-footer is, can he shoot the 3 ball? Well, the answer is yes. As you can clearly see here, the man has a nice shooting stroke. He didn't shoot 105 consecutive corner threes like Steph, but you can't deny the fact that the ability to shoot is there. In fact, in one of his seasons playing in the NBL on a limited volume, he actually shot close to 40% from distance. Then when he played against the Phoenix Suns about a year ago in the NBL-NBA crossover, he made 1 of 2 from distance, but more importantly than actually making the shot, it's important to note that it looks smooth and he looked confident taking it. Work can always be done to improve shooting abilities, but once he improves in this category a bit more, it's a pretty much unblockable shot. Next off, look at this. It's a close overtime game with his team up 3 with a little over 30 seconds left on the game clock. If Kai could just get 1 more bucket, it's game over and his team could go home happy. And he could have elected to shoot the open 3, but instead, he chose the safer route and first fake going left to get rid of the help defender before going for the higher percentage 1-dribble mid-range pull-up, which was butter and which put the nail in the coffin. Moving on here, he has the capability of being a rim-running big, hitting teammates for dimes, and when it comes to offense in general, because of his early training and his unicorn attributes, he could practically do it all. Then on defense, as you can see, he is an elite rim protector. Anyway, if you're wondering why the NBA hasn't seen or heard too much of Sotto in recent years, it's because of the pandemic. You see, Sotto actually finished his last 2 years of high school in the US as he attended the Miami school in Ohio. It was around this time where he trained with NBA legends like Amari Stoudemire. After graduating high school, he was then being actively recruited by many NCAA Division I schools, but ultimately decided to sign with the G League Ignite instead. Unfortunately, however, he was also playing for the Philippines national team at the time, and pandemic travel restrictions made it hard to go back and forth, so as a result, he and Ignite mutually parted ways. After a while, he went over to the NBL, the top-tier basketball league in Australia, where he would spend 2 seasons, and afterwards to the B League in Japan, where he is signed to as of today. More recently, however, Sotto made headlines from all around the world when he played in the NBA Summer League games, where he logged 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks in just 13 minutes of play. Unfortunately, though, he had a minor back injury and had to pull out after just 1 game, but that was all the world needed to see his potential. As of now, Kai and his camp are still plotting his next move, but given the context of everything, an actual NBA appearance looks to be on the horizon for the young basketball phenom. It's important to also note that it's common for centers of his height to not reach their potentials until they grow into their frame, which could be at the age of 22, 23, or even 24. Take Embiid, for example. He didn't play his first NBA game until he was actually 22. Bol didn't really get NBA minutes until he was 23. Porzingis, on the other hand, although he was an all-star at 22, didn't have his first efficient season until he was 25. As of today, Kai just recently turned 21 and has the world ahead of him. Honestly, if he could stay healthy, he's already at a level where an NBA team could sign him, but if he chooses to get a bit stronger, fill out his frame a bit more, and signs with a team where he's the main focus of their offense, build up his experience by playing 30-plus minutes per game, he'll likely be picked up by an NBA team before Dylan Dynasty Brooks tastes the playoffs again. Personally, I see either Miami or Golden State picking up young Sotto in the near future. They both have one of the best developmental programs in the NBA, they're both missing a true 7-footer, and my goodness, guys, can you imagine his development if he got into either of those teams? The NBA is going to have to create a new award coming out soon called the All-Unicorn First Team or something, which will consist of players like Wembanyama, Holmgren, and Sotto.